she's busy cleaning the screen on her computer, and I said, "Are you ready to chat?" And she said, "Sure," but really, I don't think she was. Right
Hello,
now.
everyone.
She's actively cleaning the schmudges. They didn't get those off very good.
No, well,
That's weird.
so on a laptop, a lot of the times the keys end up making marks on your screen, but
Yeah, that little.
I was trying to use the glasses cleaner.
I'll get the power polisher out.
Oh, it's finally starting. The kids were using my laptop, and it was completely out of power.
Oh, the kids were using a laptop. I see how this goes.
It's true.
The kids.
How are you guys all doing?
Well, hopefully you guys are all doing well. We are right in the thick of fall here in Canada. And from our video series, we were in Montana. So I thought we'd kind of kick off today's live chat. And hello, Nubia. Welcome to the live feed. Hello to everybody who's joining us right now. I thought I'd kick off and kind of talk about our impressions of Montana so far. I've been to Montana before as a kid. My dad had clearly been to Montana before. Yeah, you guys know the backstory on that. But I hadn't traveled Montana in quite a while. And I always forget just how pretty a drive it is from Canada down through Montana. You got all the mountains and the winding roads and just absolutely stunning scenery. And pretty sparsely populated. I don't know how many of you, show of hands, have been to Montana before. Yeah, okay, me too.
I just saw the thumbnail, you guys.
So parts of it remind me of Canada in a way, like it is mountainous, although our mountains have lots of lakes and streams and stuff at the base of them.
Yeah, they look different.
It's different looking mountains anyway. Very, very pretty. But I think the population what is the population of the state of Montana? Is it like 1.5 million or maybe 2 million people in the entire state? It's not a very highly populated state. So you find that the towns are pretty sparse, they're spread out, and they're diverse. So our mission was to go down there, and Melissa got a chance to meet my brother Steve for the first time, and that was in Bozeman.
Yeah.
So what do you think of Steve?
He's amazing. He's exactly how you would assume he is, as long as it's really good. Very friendly. He felt like I felt like I've known him forever. Like that was kind of like how I felt like with Heather too. Similar
yet different. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely felt like family for me. I mean, I've met Steve many times, but it reminds me a lot of my dad. And the nice thing is Steve is super into antiques and collectibles, so when nobody else wanted to go out, Heather has no interest in this kind of stuff, and Melissa not so much either. But it's true, that's okay. Everybody's got their own thing. When Steve is super into going antiquing, and so for me, we've been going to every kind of pawn shop, antique store, every kind of thing you can think of out there, and he's pretty much as game to go and look at antiques as I am. I have not met another human being other than Steve now who is as eager to go to every flea market, every thrift store, every antique shop, and not run out of steam by the end of the day. So Steve, thank you very much for being such a trooper and coming out with me. As a result, I got lots of videos and lots of cool antique shops and found some treasures. Beautiful Omega watch in that last pawn shop and the comic book. I thought that was pretty cool. But I was surprised. I was not expecting the town of Bozeman to be as picturesque as it was. And what did you think of Bozeman?
It is very picturesque. It felt a little bit like, was it Banff here or Jasper? Like kind of like a little college town in the mountains.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, but it felt like a kind of touristy. Everything was very clean and
kind of trendy.
Yeah, and nice.
Like if they had a coffee shop, it wasn't just a regular coffee shop. It was a fancy boutique coffee shop.
Yeah.
And I found a lot of the stores and galleries and things like that. It kind of reminded me of like an Aspenese sort of, like an upscale mountain town is what Bozeman is. And I had no idea that's what Bozeman was. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't that. Not that far from Bozeman is the town of Butte. And at one time, the town of Butte was one of the largest cities in the United States. That did not last very long as the resources started to diminish. But at one time, they said that was the most valuable hill in America because they were pulling out gold and copper and all kinds of stuff out of that hill, which is why there's so many mine shafts around there. And the mines are still in operation today for copper, I believe, but they're not pulling as much out as they used to. So it's a much smaller operation. And you can tell that when you have a really large town that suddenly gets emptied of its population, it shows. And unfortunately, Butte was one of those places that had a lot of cool historic buildings and a lot of interesting history. And actually, I got a lot of really neat stuff from Butte, Montana. But the town itself, you can feel that a lot of the infrastructure needs some upgrades in the downtown area. The buildings need a little TLC. But it made for, I think, pretty fascinating and interesting video. I don't know if you guys saw like where they torn the one building down. I took a picture of, you know, the staircase and the wainscoting and stuff was still stuck on the side from when it used to be the interior wall of the other building that's now gone. Urban decay has always been kind of fascinating to me. But that said, there are areas of Butte that are being built back up, and there's suburbs and neighborhoods that are quite new. Just the downtown area is a little bit on the older side, and yeah. Oh, Julie says they once sold buildings in downtown Butte for $1.
You have good eyeballs. You read that off your phone.
To increase infrastructure. I was chatting with the guy that had the antique store out there that I got the really cool motorcycle toy from, and he said that he owned the whole block. Now, his storefront is the only building in that block that is actually open and habitable. But even then, the floor was heaving and the doors didn't close quite right. And you got the sense that that was a building that needed an awful lot of work. So maybe that was at a time when, you could get those buildings for $1 each. Still though, pretty cool. And there is some life being breathed back into that town. That's the town where Evel Knievel came from Butte, Montana. Fahima says, I've been watching you for a while. I know you're busy. If I can send an email for advice. Yes, you can. You can send it to curiosityedmonton@gmail.com. If you have any questions, I'll try and get to them. Or if you also have cool stuff you might want to sell, keep me in mind. I am trying to track down, I guess I should finish off Montana. Beautiful state. Lots of great scenery. Bozeman was a stunning, very hip kind of college town with lots of neat stuff going on. Butte was kind of fascinating because of its decay, but there is still hope that there's a future there for Butte. It's just not, the population isn't what it was, and so there's a lot of really big buildings that don't have a lot of people in them. But really cool stuff floating around that town. And if I lived in that area, I'd certainly be down in the Butte area looking for treasures, because I'm sure every floor of those buildings has something cool on it. So really enjoying the trip to Montana, and I hope you guys are enjoying the videos that are coming out from our Montana experience as well. That said, I was going to tell you what I'm looking for right now. I'm trying to find damaged or broken Rolex watches. And the reason for that is that I have some that I'm trying to fix up, and I'm missing parts, and then you can't buy the parts. So anyway, if you have a junky old high-end watches, actually of any kind of brand name, or nice old watches that you want to sell, drop me a line again, curiosityedmonton@gmail.com. Trying to put some together right now and looking for parts and pieces. So what the heck? Montana. And I'm feeling like I need another Steve visit here. But Heather is going to be coming soon to visit us.
Yeah.
In a couple weeks' time. We do Thanksgiving, was it October the 13th here?
14th.
14th? Okay.
Well,
but
the actual day is the 14th.
But we're doing it on the 13th.
Yeah.
Woo, woo! October the 13th. It's not a Friday, is it? It's a Sunday the 13th. So we are doing Thanksgiving at our house. Heather's coming up. I wish Steve could come up, but he can't make it. My mom's gonna be here. My aunt, two of my aunts, my cousins. It'll be the first time Heather will meet one of her other first cousins. She'll never have met my cousin Paris before. So
true.
There's gonna be some firsts. So very excited to have some family coming to visit us, and for us to be putting on Thanksgiving here at our house. Which reminds me, at some point this coming week, I've got to go buy the turkey. Because if you wait too long, the turkey's gone.
If you go too early, there's no turkeys. It's funny, I just assumed that there were turkeys all year round.
Yeah, I was surprised too. You think that, what if somebody feels like a hot summer turkey. They're like, man, it's really hot outside. You know, I could go for a turkey.
He said that, so sometimes there are turkeys, but it'll be left over from like Easter or like from them over purchasing them. So
Yeah, but why do we only eat giant birds at certain? Maybe because that's when there's lots of people together.
Because here you're just gonna. I'm not a fan of turkey.
Well, you can buy like turkey breast or shaved turkey or I don't know.
I prefer chicken. Turkey's like
That's a big bird.
It's a big pain in the butt to cook, and then it doesn't taste all that great. Maybe that's my cooking.
No, it always tastes good, and especially Melissa brines it, so she'll soak it in this sort of mixture, and it really makes it tender.
A brine.
Yeah, a brine. But anyway, she makes it really tender and good, and
it's not bad. You know, the part I like the least is having to get rid of that brine water after. It's all fun and games until you have to do all that cleanup. But yeah.
Yeah, I am looking forward to your turkey. And more than anything, it's nice to have a traditional family meal, and relatives are bringing their dishes over. So I think my mom's bringing a salad. My aunt is bringing something called ambrosia. Anybody know what that is? Anybody ever had that before? You guys ever heard of ambrosia?
It's all different, like they're...
Yeah, it's essentially like marshmallow paste and coconut and fruit.
It's kind of like a fruit salad with marshmallows in it.
Yeah.
A marshmallow paste.
Well, no, I mean like the marshmallow whip kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe there's walnuts in it, I can't remember.
Sometimes.
But the reason why my aunt is bringing it is that my grandma used to make it every Thanksgiving as sort of a side dish, desserty sort of thing. Probably was popular around the time when people were making Jell-O molds out of everything, you know, putting carrots inside of Jell-O, which I think is sacrilegious. You cannot put vegetables inside of a sweet dish like Jell-O. That's just wrong. Mind you,
people don't really do that as much anymore. That's like a retro recipe now where you have like
the Jell-O mold.
Yeah, carrots and Jell-O, and
yeah.
I didn't mind it when I was younger. I remember liking it, but I'm not going to try it.
No, it doesn't belong.
Maybe if somebody made it, I would.
Every kid that I know would have probably eaten around the vegetables in the Jell-O, and it was always green Jell-O too. Did you notice? For us, it was always green Jell-O.
I pictured green Jell-O, but I don't think I've only ever had green Jell-O.
When was the last time we even made Jell-O? I feel like it's been a while.
I get migraines, and I stay away from sucralose and aspartame, and a lot of those have those, so I don't buy it.
And so the rest of us suffer.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's actually not making you suffer.
What is frog eye salad? Somebody tell me what frog eye salad is. Julie says ambrosia is better than frog eye salad. Don't tell me that it's what it sounds like, because that would be really gross. I'm guessing it's Jell-O. Hopefully it doesn't have like pimentos or olives in it or something.
Or frog eyes.
It can't. It's not going to be frog.
It'll be like, what's it called?
Oh, she said it's the pepi pasta in ambrosia.
Oh.
Basically, she says. Okay. What are other traditional things that people used to make? Okay. What's that awful bread? Fruit pound cake? No.
No, Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas bread.
Oh, hold on. It's a cake. Christmas cake.
Christmas cake? Yeah, but it has a special name. It's like solid like a brick. You could probably make a house out of it.
I think it's called Christmas cake.
And it has like weird little fruit chunks in it.
You know how long that takes to cook or to make?
I know, it takes a long time.
Not like hours. It's
fruit
crazy.
Cake? Yeah, I'm thinking of fruit cake. Oh wait, hang on. I'm gonna let the dog out, but let me show you what Let me show you what Melissa did to the dog today.
He's cold.
Look at what she did. He has an Argyle sweater on. This isn't for YouTube or anything. Like, our dog is actually just strolling around with the Argyle sweater on today.
His little ears are shivering.
Well, he got a haircut. Chewy got a haircut, and he's a little chilly. We do a haircut every once in a while because it keeps the mats down on his fur, on his hair.
Yeah.
But she put this little tiny sweater on. Aren't you a fancy boy? Yeah, look at that little peanut. He kind of looks like a deer a little bit.
Yeah, especially when his nose hair starts growing out, he looks like a little deer.
Yeah, he likes chin scratchies. Yep. Oh, Marcus says, how do you know when to let a project car go? Usually when there's no more space in the garage. Okay. I'm gonna let it out.
Not just, I mean, if somebody else had a project car though, like if it's gonna cost more than you could ever get out of it.
Sure. What's that?
He's like, no.
Oh, he chickened out.
It's because it was raining.
He chickened out.
Come here.
Now he's going for Melissa.
Come here.
I guess he liked the attention.
Yeah, he's like, no.
He's come back for more. Melissa's got him. Okay, well I guess Chewy has joined the chat. Chewy has entered the chat. You can just see a little noggin. It looks like you have a Yoda on your lap. Yep.
Look at him. Your ears look so big. So
Oh my
big.
gosh.
So
So to answer your question about how do you know when to let a project car go? So Marcos, is this a project car that you have? Oh, he says, I'm struggling to finish or let go of a 37 Opel Olympia. Well, that's a rare car for sure. Probably difficult to get parts for. Here's my thoughts on that. If you have a project car and the cost of the restoration you're gonna have to do, even if you do a lot of the work yourself, is gonna outweigh the value tremendously of what you could just buy one of those cars for now, you're probably better off just to let the car go, save your money and get one that's already done. It's always best to buy a car that's been painted or restored or is already assembled than it is to buy one in project form. I say that having done a lot of project cars. I do the majority of the work myself, and I do call in friends when I do need the help. But I have a lot of friends that are mechanics and stuff. But it is getting more and more expensive nowadays to get cars painted, to get mechanical work done. And I'm worried that it's actually gonna price the old car market too high for people. The cost of entry isn't too bad. In fact, right now you can buy vintage cars for a pretty fair price. The problem is keeping them on the road and keeping the paint looking nice, and all that's so very expensive. In our area, even if you want to go and get a generic paint job from like a Mako or something, which is supposed to be the cheapest place you can go, you're looking at north of $10,000 Canadian to get a paint job at Mako in our town. So if your car is only worth 12, then you've pretty much tanked the value of anything left on it because you've spent too much on paint. So now I would say it's best to buy a car that has good body, good paint, and if you have to do some interior or mechanical, that's a little bit easier to take care of. You can do that kind of stuff yourself for the most part, but it's getting cost prohibitive out there. So I think Marcos, just for your 37 Opel Olympia, hey, cool car. And by the way, send me pictures. I want to see what it looks like too. So I'm serious, Marcos. Send me pictures to curiosityedmonton@gmail.com. I'd love to see what your car looks like. Yeah, and Mako used to be $500 for a paint job, like maybe 6-7 years ago. But the cost of paint and everything is so expensive. I don't know if it's the same way in the United States, but they made it so that all of our paints have to be water soluble and stuff, and it's different blends and it's more expensive. And anyway, oh, he says, I'm not interested in keeping it, but I'll send pictures before it goes. Send me pictures. Where are you located? Oh, he's in Paraguay. Never mind. I was almost gonna say,
Oh
Opel's a German car. A 1930s German car that ended up in Paraguay. Well, one can only, I didn't know they could fit on a submarine. I guess there was a lot of, I went actually to a guy's house the other day here, and he's not far from us. And he had 3 Borgward Isabellas, that's what they were, coupes. Really pretty kind of car. Kind of looked like a Volkswagen Carmen Ghia, and I could pick them up for probably a good price, but the thing is, they're only worth so much when they're fixed up. And like I said, the cost of paint, body, getting the engine done, it's just not worth it to do anymore. So who knows what the car hobby is going to be like? Who knows where it's going to be right now? Mima Mary says, our sweet Miss Oreo loves wearing clothes. She's a spradoodle, and we have her groomed in a shortcut every 6 weeks. She's wearing a hoodie and says, Mummy's little pumpkin. Chewy doesn't wear people clothes.
Right, you just showed him in the.
I am saying, I was gonna say he doesn't wear them that often.
No.
It's only because he was a little bit chilly today.
He has like one sweater.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not true. My friend Elaine made him a little blue sweater.
Oh my gosh, we've become those people.
He has 2 sweaters.
Anyway, he does look kind of cute in his little Argyle sweater. Okay, I guess I approve of that. I don't know. Steve says, you said no more cars, but I saw Lancia followed you home. Yeah. Guys, I will be completely upfront and honest with you. Where I'm at is that I feel like, what do I need this stuff for? I got to get rid of things, and then things follow me home. So yeah, the Lancia followed me home. And every Thursday I have a reminder on my phone, and that reminder goes off with an alarm, and it says, no more cars. That's how.
What? You two actually?
Yeah, I do. I have I put a reminder or a reoccurring reminder for every Thursday that says
Well,
no
it's
more
not
cars.
working. You maybe need to do it every day, just like.
Yeah, but I didn't bring those other cars home.
Wednesday's when the car comes home, and then Thursday the reminder comes out.
Anyway, I need to start getting rid of some stuff. This is becoming an issue. Although I've been mostly focused on getting the kids and Melissa's cars ready for winter with new tires, new winter tires and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Kevin says, did I ever do a full tour of my Westie? No, I don't think I did. But you know, I might be putting the Westphalia, my Westie, which I really quite like. I might be putting that through auction in October with Kastner, with another old car and the dirt bike I picked up out of that when we did a house, not a clear up, but we did buy some stuff from a formerly hoarded house. And we got that little Yamaha dirt bike in perfect condition, and it is riding great right now. So we're sort of gearing up for an auction sale in October, mid-October. So for those asking, CC Cat says, when's that going on? October. So there'll be probably a notification will come up and we'll let you guys know when that's happening. But then you can see what the inside of that Volkswagen looks like. It's actually a cute little vehicle, and now it's running really nicely because it has a brand new engine in it. So right when I get something running properly. But I was trying to get down, really thin my cars down a lot. I think I'd mentioned before, maybe on the last live feed, that I thought, well, maybe I should get rid of a bunch of stuff and start saving some money, and then maybe we could do another old building. I keep having dreams that I'm opening a store again. It's like a reoccurring dream. I don't know. The retail market's pretty fussy right now. I'd have to really give some consideration of what type of store to open, but
it's a huge overhead to have a store because you have there's a lot
property
of people
tax
that
and
you need to give your money to.
yeah, there's a lot of money goes out the door before any of it comes back home.
Yeah.
When you have a brick and mortar business.
Because like property tax is not good, and then
no, we'd have
the
to do it
regular
like in a
bills.
smaller town or something.
Yeah,
So
staff if it's not here.
insurance,
Right, insurance,
yeah,
all the things. If there's theft again,
yeah, I know, Melissa.
it's because I can see the hole you need to start in, and a store is a very hard thing to dig yourself out of the hole, and then
Yeah,
the people waiting on the outside of that hole once you get out to take your money is substantial.
Todd says he misses the store and the people that I met there. Yes, I know there's a lot of, and I see Bob the Bottle Man's on today. I actually went out for lunch with Bob and with Bill a few days ago. Went out and had a nice little lunch at Tim Hortons there. Oh, Bob says, did you clean your gutters? I climbed up on the roof to clean the gutters, and my gutters didn't need cleaning. I was, after all that, got the big ladder out,
Because
climbed
that
up.
there was really full because it's in the trees. So
B Disney says, I miss the Curiosity Inc. store. Yeah, certainly, there's definitely times I miss having the store too, but I wonder in this climate right now, Alina says, what about a stall somewhere? Maybe. They are opening another antique mall here in Edmonton, so maybe that'll be an opportunity to have a stall at an antique mall. But then again,
it's just having your stuff there though, and somebody else sells it.
yeah, you have to pay booth rental and then you have to pay a percentage. So I may as well just,
The auction.
well, I was going to say I may as well just put money into a building.
Oh yeah.
But maybe if not to build another, to put a store together and do that. I have been thinking about maybe like an old fixer-upper house and doing a home renovation. We came across a beautiful property that we had an opportunity to buy that I would have loved to have renovated, but we wouldn't have had the money to buy the place and do the renovation. It would have been like a one or the other kind of deal. Too bad too, because it sold like within a day. They asked us, they really wanted us to buy the house. I really, really liked it.
It was really nice.
It was a really pretty,
Yeah.
You'll see there's going to be a video series coming out of us clearing it out. And I could see the potential for how pretty that place was. But it's, you either you can get the property but not fix it, or find a cheaper place and have a little bit of money to fix it. So
Hi, Matthew.
maybe we'll look at that. But property values are crazy where I am right now.
Yeah.
I think they had 200,000 new people move into our area in the last year. So 200,000 new folks that came from all over the place, parts of Canada and all over the world. They came here, and yeah, so we definitely noticed there's a lot of houses going up. There's a lot of stuff going on. Bear Hardcore Picker says sales have been a bit slow in the shop this year. Guess the current economy. Yeah, I was thinking hard about that. Maybe I'll put this out there, guys. Maybe I'll ask you guys a question. I don't see a lot of younger people collecting things, and that makes me wonder. Well, maybe they're into Pokemon and stuff that I'm just not savvy on. But do you think the collectible market will continue beyond the Generation X baby boomer kind of generation? Will it be something that people do? Or will people be so concerned that they just have to pay rent and to put food on the table that the idea and thought of having a collection of things seems really far and out of reach for people? I'm not sure which one it is, but when I look at what the cost of housing is right now, at least in our area,
Yeah, even just rent.
and even rent, and I think, how on earth would my kids afford a place, but then fill it with stuff? And I think about all these guys 5-6 years ago when I had my shop that were spending thousands of dollars on pinball machines and on porcelain gasoline station signs. I know that there is always going to be some sort of demand for that, but I wonder how practical it's going to be for people to be spending money on things. Matthew says, I think collecting for the younger folks will be cards and toys. They'll be doing that. They seem to be doing that now. Yeah, I definitely see generationally things shift. I know Matthew, who just commented, is really into Star Wars stuff. And that is still pretty collectible. But then again, that stuff is selling to people more my age or a little bit older than me that had those vintage Star Wars toys. So I wonder what the current 18 to 25-year-old crowd might be collecting down the road. So really curious to know what is going to be going on. And hello from Romania. Metal Detecting Romania says hello. Also, look at the stuff people are collecting, non-physical things, examples, NFTs. Well, don't get me started on that. That was a, I don't see that. NFTs scare me, so does Bitcoin, because it's really nothing. You're paying for nothing. But Marco says, I'm 38, and there are people in my generation who are going back to fixing stuff, preventing the waste mentality. Okay, I get that. I could see that. I could see upcycling becoming popular, maybe old furniture that's been upcycled or clothing that people have manufactured. So maybe a little bit more of that 1920s kind of mentality. I don't think, when you think about people in the 1920s and 30s, I don't think that a lot of folks had big collections of things either. I think they just had things that they needed. So I feel that the collectibles and antiques market has really only become very popular probably in the last generation or two. Does that make sense to you guys? I mean, think about somebody who was living during the Depression era. They hung on to things, but they weren't collecting things. There probably were some people who collected stuff, but I imagine it would be like one of those Victorian dens with like moose heads and exotic game mounted all over the walls, butterflies and stuff. I don't imagine that there was as common to be a collector then as it is now. Lorelei says, I think younger people prefer to spend their money on experiences. I could see that. Comic book market's not in good shape. The 20-year-olds aren't buying them. Interesting. Bob says he recently bought a bottle for $50 that's worth $150. So yeah, maybe there's some deals out there, but is this an indication of what the market will be like in the future? I don't know. Matthew says he wants to collect everything and anything. Yeah, I definitely get that. You're like my brother Steve, Matthew. Steve collects it. Oh, look, a rusty wrench. Oh, I collect those. A dinner plate. Oh, I collect those. Steve has a collection of everything. But I wonder what it's going to be like. Yeah, Marco says it's hard to collect when a house in 2011 was $250,000 is now $1 million today. Well, we certainly are seeing house prices go way up. I mean, when we bought our first house, it was quite a bit less than what they sell for now. And we had a yard. We had an okay size yard. And we went to go look at a show home not that long ago just to kind of see what was going on. And the houses in my area, they build them so close together. I don't know if anybody in other parts of America or Canada are on right now, but the new subdivisions are built almost so that the eaves troughs are touching the neighbor's house, and then they don't have a yard. Now, the people in the show home say, well, that's because nowadays people don't have time and they don't want to do yard maintenance, and so they will prefer a smaller backyard. We went the opposite way. We wanted to have a big backyard where we could run around and do stuff, but maybe our thinking is out of date. I don't know.
No, what are the chances that it's because people want smaller yards and not that they want to put one more house in and make more money?
Well, there's definitely that. Yeah, let's see. I was born in Traveling Gal says I was born in Butte and went to school with Evel Knievel. Oh, really? Lived across the alley from his cousins Don and Kurt. Left the Butte area in 1962. Okay, Traveling Gal or Traveling All. What was Evel Knievel like in high school? We're gonna get some inside information here. How often do you get that? Everybody knows who Evel Knievel is. Imagine the Americana jumpsuit on a motorcycle, jumping over school buses, jumping over things. What was Evel Knievel like in high school? I imagine he was probably like a crazy kid who was just up to stuff all the time. Like, maybe cutting class, maybe, I don't know. He strikes me as maybe like a troublemaker kid. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's because he has a motorbike. Maybe, and I had a motorcycle. Maybe I have blinders on about people with motorcycles. But from what I heard from people around Butte, Montana that knew him, a lot of them said they didn't really know him that well. So I don't know what it's like. Let's see. Matthew says, majority of your fan base are collectors and people who enjoy seeing you find stuff. So I think you do influence people into collecting. Well, perhaps. If you have some old watches that you want to sell, May Gaede, I think it was. Anyway, you can email me at curiosityedmonton@gmail.com. Melissa's going to put it in the chats here too. Stacy says, every square inch of your house sits on is tax. The bigger the lot, the bigger the tax. You would think so. However, it's based on what your property is evaluated at. And when you're out in the country, the houses aren't valued as high as if they're in the city. So we get a nicer, bigger home on a bigger lot, and we're paying far less tax than we would be in the city.
Oh, I can't even imagine how much this would be in the city. It would be bad.
Alina says a lot of old-fashioned home deco has come back into fashion for the youngsters as it's all new to them. That's true. There's a lot of really nice old home decor that, it's just the quality is so nice, and I could see that. I guess I'm kind of trying to figure out what is it I should do with my life. Do I open another store? Do I just maybe do home renovations? Do a couple house flips, perhaps? I don't know. We'll have to see. I guess that's probably going to be a problem for next year, not for this year. I'm gonna have to start selling some stuff off and saving some money up, but we'll go there. Oh, Traveling Gal says, just another nerdy kid, not at all like the movie he made himself out to be. Oh, interesting. Okay, so just sort of, was he quiet perhaps, maybe? Interesting. So not the Evel Knievel I thought it was gonna be. But it says he was sort of a quiet kid, maybe. Debbie says, I'm a sucker for old craftsman style houses. Yes, I like craftsman as well. We kind of built our current home in the craftsman style, but with modern sort of influences. Karen says she used to collect and resell on a small scale. And Danielle says, do what your heart says. Problem is my heart changes from time to time.
I think it's supposed to, because we grow differently throughout our lives.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it's so silly, but sometimes when I'm thinking about big life decisions, I actually write out the pros and cons on a list, like old school. I feel like I got to do one of those things. Renee says, house flips with the whole gang involved would be fun to watch, though not necessarily easy to get all the boys together. Yeah, somebody was asking earlier how Paul's doing. I ran into him at a car show. Paul's working full time. Hans lives out of town and he's working. Josh is doing his thing, and his health hasn't been great. So I don't see them as much as I'd like to because they're all busy doing their own stuff right now. Debbie says, have you considered enclosing the pool so you can use it year round? I've thought about it, but I don't think we're going to do that. That would be probably super expensive to heat and maintain it year round.
Because it's in ground. So even if it was enclosed, the ground is frozen.
No, but the pipes are underground.
I know where the pipes are.
Yeah,
but I'm saying, can you imagine how much it would cost to heat the water during winter?
That's a thought, actually, because what you could do is you could build a glass gazebo around the whole thing and have it glassed in to make it year-round.
And then we'd be wet from the pool to the house in minus 50.
No, you go and change in the... Anyway, No. I don't need to spend any more money on this property. I'm done.
I'm cold getting out of the shower in a heated house.
You're cold in a sweater and winter jacket in the middle of summer.
True.
Melissa's the only person when it's plus 30 degrees Celsius here, which is like what 90 or something in Fahrenheit, that she will have a winter parka on.
Well, if there's a breeze.
Yeah. No, she's just always. I came down. The house was boiling hot, and she had the fireplace on, and she wasn't anywhere near it. Yeah. Allison says the treasure is you and your relationship with your friends. Yeah, I would love to be able to team up with those guys again. That usually happens when I'm doing some kind of home reno or some kind of build. That's when usually Josh and Hans and those guys end up getting involved. They were involved with the house clear out that we did, and that video hasn't happened yet. It hasn't come out yet, but it will be. Not until November though, that series comes out. Cindy says, I don't see as many people shopping in the resale shops as I did just a few years ago. Retail's very risky right now. People are struggling to live. That is very true. The cost of just food is super expensive now.
Yeah.
Everything is so pricey. So hopefully they can get that under control, because wages have definitely not kept up with the cost of food.
I had to get 6 apples, just apples, for my classroom, and it cost $9 Canadian. But
that's a lot of money for apples.
$9.
How big were these apples? Were they giant and orange?
I had 2 red, what are they called? Red Delicious.
Yeah.
Then there were the green ones, and then I had 2 yellow ones. I have no clue what it was.
Ambrosia, Granny Smith.
We were doing a taste test in the preschool, but $9, I kept that receipt to be reimbursed. Normally I wouldn't care about getting reimbursed for apples.
But it used to be like a bag of apples was like a couple bucks, and that wasn't that long ago. Apples were always really, really cheap. Like your staples, your fruit and stuff should be really inexpensive. But that's almost like a luxury.
I guess it depends on where they shipped it from, but.
Debbie says, can you grow apples in Canada? You can answer that one.
We have 2 apple trees on our property. Our last house had a huge apple tree. Even when it was a tiny spindly little seedling kind of, it would throw.
But they're not big apples. They're kind of like crab apples.
No, they have, the ones on our backyard were not like giant apples, but they weren't crab apples.
They were like half the size of a normal apple, maybe.
And these ones that we planted, they're not putting out apples yet, but they're normal. They're not crab apples. They're sweet apples.
Yeah. Single with Cheese says, you seem to like the search and collect part. What about having a large barn-like building and open an auction house? Just need an helper. Well, we're kind of doing that right now, where we're sort of going and finding stuff, because you're right. I love finding things, but I like keeping the odd thing, but I really love finding stuff and then moving it along to a home where it will be loved. And so we're kind of doing that right now without our own barn-like building. We're using an existing auction house. They don't really charge me a huge percentage to deal with it all. So for me, the cost of all that probably makes sense to keep doing what I'm doing with the auction. Mm-hmm. But it gives me anxiety to actually hang on to a whole pile of stuff. Like when it starts getting, it feels overwhelming. I don't know. I think I'm a paradox. I'm an obsessive buyer who also likes to be a bit of a I say minimalist.
Yeah, but I mean, we don't like to have a lot of stuff at all. Like, we don't have a lot of stuff. No, actually.
Cars?
Yeah, but it's not like...
That's a problem.
We could still walk around our garage.
Mino Boone says, what happened to your antique shop? I'm just heading... Oh, wait, what did they say? They said...
Follow with every video.
Oh, yeah. I found... Okay, I'm going to mention this right now. If you aren't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. And if you haven't hit the little notification bell on the top of your screen, make sure to do that. Because there's a lot of people that are subscribed that are not getting the videos published to them. But I will tell you what happened with the shop. A couple things. One, we built that addition off the side of the store to be a future ice cream parlor. That was the plan for it. So I did kind of the footprint and square footage for that. And in the meantime, we filled it up sort of as a gift shop, and we had all sorts of things in there that we were selling, and had antiques on the other side. What happened was COVID hit, and we got shut down for a year and a half, I want to say. And during that time, I had to keep selling stuff, but I couldn't open my store because I wasn't allowed to open. So we started selling stuff through auction. which really kind of decimated the stock I had built up in the store because I wasn't able to buy as much and we were selling lots. So over that period of 1.5 years, because we didn't take any sort of government loans or subsidies or anything like that, we just wanted to do it on our own. By the time we were done selling off a bunch of our antiques over 1.5 years, I decided that when we eventually reopened, I'd lease out the one side of my store to an ice cream parlor. We moved all the gift shop stuff in, and then suddenly my store was a gift shop and not an antique store. And I felt as though I somehow missed the boat on how I was advertising myself. Melissa's dad passed away, and to be honest, fell into a bit of depression. And I was sitting there and I was thinking, I do love to go out and buy stuff, but I'm not enjoying sitting here and selling t-shirts and coffee mugs and stuff right like that, and then advertising myself as an antique store. So I didn't feel like I was being honest to myself. And then we had an offer on the building, which was very fair, and we ended up selling. Now, all that said, I do like being a retailer. In fact, I've owned a couple businesses. We used to own a toy store years ago at one of the biggest malls in the world, at West Edmonton Mall. We had toys and collectible shops, so that wasn't antiques. I miss the interaction with customers and with people and, you know, having that excitement. But during the COVID time when we were shut down, we were closed, and so I missed a lot of the people coming through. And after it was all done, we didn't have as many people coming back that we had before. Prior to COVID, we were bustling. If you watch the video of when we did our store grand opening and we had hundreds of people in there, our store was packed and busy. Antiques were flowing in and out all the time. And since COVID, that really just slowed right down. And then it shifted where the antiques weren't selling as much, and the things that were like the coffees, the locally made coffee, tea, honey, all that kind of stuff that we sold. That stuff did really well. And so I kind of just would have to figure out what the market would call for, and really what do I want to do with my time and with my life, because I know that I would miss digging around in a barn or an attic, pulling stuff out of somebody's barn. You know, I know that I would miss that a lot, digging through treasure boxes of things, finding stuff at estate sales and garage sales. I would miss that. And so that's what I've been doing for the past while since we shut the store down, is I'm still going out and having fun and doing things I love and sharing those videos with you, just doing it without a storefront. So I don't know. I guess lots to consider and mull over today. Yeah, gosh. So lots to think about for sure. Matthew says the store was packed to the rafters with people and product. Yeah, it was fun. It was magical. It was really great. You know, I love creating that environment. And I really loved having experience for people when they came through the store, that there was the Zoltar there. There was pinball machines that the local kids could go and play. We had candy. We had all kinds of neat stuff. Single Cheese has really pushed me on the auction idea, but they're like, you could do your own auction. I've thought about getting my auctioneer's license and maybe doing that. Maybe I could just be a guy that goes and helps people to put stuff through auction. Maybe, I don't know. I'd really have to think about it. Allison says, would love to see you team up with some of my other favorite YouTube creators, such as the Runkle Bailey Legal Commentary, Alberta Midwest Magic Cleaner, Hoarder House Cleaner, and Wristwatch Revival. Got a lot of good call outs there, Allison. I'm sure they'll be very happy for that. Hey, if any of those guys want to reach out to me, sure, I'd do a collaboration. Why not? We don't do that very often, but I probably am certainly due to do a collaboration with somebody. Mind you, I guess we do it with Josh and with Hans we have, and with other folks too. But you know, we certainly like to try and promote and help our friends out when we can. So I don't know. Maybe I'll look up when Hershey, Pennsylvania is having their big swap meet. I've never been to that, and I've always wanted to go. My friend Kelly, who I've known for years, he goes pretty much every year. So maybe I'll make a trip with my buddy Kelly. Kelly's been on some videos.
Matthew said Alexander would be the Willy Wonka of auctioneering. He would take it to the next level.
Yeah, the bow tie would come out of the closet for sure.
Yeah.
Love coins and bills. If you consider doing more on those. Yes, actually, my focus right now, here's the stuff that I'm trying to look for. So if anybody is watching and you have stuff like this at home, keep me in mind, because I am buying stuff. I am looking for old wristwatches. I'm looking for old toys, old comic books, coins and paper money, and estate jewelry. Stuff that basically you could fit into a bin and haul back in your car. Mind you, if somebody had an entire storage unit full of old money, I wouldn't say no. I'd figure it out. Yeah. Let's see. Steve Feller says, I think you would appreciate this. I just got my late father's vintage solid gold Omega watch back from full service. Very nice. Omega's a great watch. They do a great watch. Actually, that's what I'm wearing right now, the Omega Speedmaster. So always looking for old men's wristwatches, some pocket watches and stuff too. So always looking for stuff. Renee says, give me a heads up if you go to Hershey. I live close and would love to say hello. Okay, well, there's something. When do they do Renee, if you live by Hershey, when do they do the big swap meet? Maybe somebody can tell me when that happens. Maybe I can plan something. I did have plans to go years ago and it never ended up happening, but gosh, I'd love to go and see. It's like a really big swap meet with toys and collectibles and old cars and car parts and stuff like that. So yeah. Mel says, I had a comic book of the Phantom. Does anybody remember that? Yes. I feel like, did Alec Baldwin not play the Phantom in a series, or he played one of those sort of slightly obscure comic book characters that hasn't really seen a revival. Don't forget vintage Star Wars. We need Star Wars. Yes, Matthew, I did find some old Star Wars not that long ago. Eternal Darkness says they are eating Hershey's right now. Oh, he played the Shadow, not the Phantom. Okay. The Phantom, was that the one that was like in a purple jumpsuit? I can't remember. My comic book knowledge is not as vast as it should be, but I'm learning. And that's the great thing about it, I'm learning. So yeah, looking for some big collections to buy. So if anybody has anything in our area, or if you know of anybody that's selling some stuff, definitely keep us in mind. And yeah, I'm just reading comments at the same time too.
Has anybody found new wristwatch batteries are short-lived?
Oh, yeah, they don't seem to last like they used to. Man, I'm definitely starting to feel like an old man at this point where you're going, oh, Hershey's fall meet is next week? Well, there's no way I can make it now. That's coming up way too fast. Darn, that means I'm gonna have to, next week it is.
Oh, yeah.
Why am I starting to talk like Yoda I am? Next week Hershey
The sun is slowly like, look, now we're in the shadows.
Yeah.
The sun is going behind clouds.
So yes, I am out actively looking for cool stuff. I am still selling things. Right now I'm selling through auction, and we do have an auction sale coming up in mid-October. I'll advertise that as we get a little bit closer. Allison says she's really loving the travel content. That's good. And if there's places that you think I should go and visit that have maybe really cool giant swap meets, I really like the Denver flea market, the Mile High Flea Market. That place is cool. So if your town or area has a really cool giant swap meet like Hershey or a big flea market, maybe drop me a line and give me some suggestions of places I should visit. I've now been Arkansas, Missouri, Tulsa. I've been through Oklahoma. This was a busy year for travel this past year. Have you thought about doing a cross Canada coast to coast antique shop picking trip? Maybe. That's you'd have to rent a van, I guess, and drive back.
See Matthew.
Oh, Matthew says there's a guy in Gettysburg who's selling a museum full of stuff. There's items from every war imaginable. Interesting.
I'll send you the information. I'm friends with him.
Yeah. New Zealand? Sure, I'd like to go to New Zealand. My mom used to live out there. I've never been to New Zealand. One of the other colonies like us, like Canada. We always feel a kinship. If you're not from Canada or Australia or New Zealand, you don't have the same sense of kinship with maybe a bunch of other countries. We feel like because we're a colony of Great Britain, or we were, that Australia and New Zealand, a lot of those other countries that were too, like we're like, hey, you're like us. You have the queen on your money, or now I guess soon to be the king on your money for no apparent reason.
Yeah, it says New Zealand is amazing.
Oh, Roseanne Cash was here, they said, Lorraine Lamore. I know that they were doing an unveiling. I saw on Kathy's Facebook, she posted that they unveiled the statue of her dad in Nashville. I think that's fantastic. Somebody says they used to have a show like American Pickers in Canada. Yeah, they called it Canadian Pickers. They were on for 4 seasons, I think.
Were they?
Yeah. They were based out of our area, kind of in our area. Sharon says, I have World War II money from my father-in-law. The soldier used to trade it during the war. Gary says, I'm the 3rd generation doll collector, always looking for old style competition dolls. Matthew says, we were once a colony, but we didn't like it. Do tell. Yeah, we're aware. Oh, you know what? I did learn something about Canada. I've lived here my whole life, and it's the first time that I learned that there is still an island that's owned by France that's basically in Canada. It's called like Saint Marguerite or something like that. And it's just by Newfoundland. There's a small island that is France. So I can actually go and visit France from Canada. You just go to Newfoundland and get on a boat or a plane and you're in France, and it's right there. So I guess after they succeeded all their land in the 1600s, they kept one little island, and yeah, they have it still. So I'd like to go visit maybe someday. Looks really cute. Saint Pierre and Miquelon, thank you. Why did I say Saint Marguerite? It sounded kind of, I got the Saint right and the M right, the M right. Saint Pierre and Miquelon. Yeah, I've never been before. Kevin, have you been?
As you said, they unveiled the statue at the nation's capital.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'd like to go. Texas has the largest flea market in the U.S., open every first Monday weekend. It's huge. Interesting. Oh, they need another jewelry vlog from you. I guess we did one before. We'll have to. Melissa hasn't done too many videos lately.
I haven't done a video in so long. I always get ready to go, and we just went through the back to school colds have hit our house. We're all like at the very, very end and recovered, but
yeah. Well, yeah. Once was it Mel that said, or no? Somebody said, where is it there? Olena said, maybe if you do an antique picking trip, you can ask people to join you. Yeah, you could do a meetup. I could do a meetup at like an antique mall or at a flea market and figure out like, you know, who's gonna find the best thing that day or something. Maybe I just have to get creative. I do like to travel, but I don't like to be away from my wife and family. I am programmed to be home. So it's weird. I have this combination where I love to travel and I'm constantly just thinking about going to see cool new stuff. But on the other hand, I really hate being away from my wife and kids. So why not bring them with you? Because they work and have school and normal lives.
That's your guys' voice.
That was the voice of somebody who was about to say that.
Yeah.
Not necessarily you. It was that other person who sounds like a Muppet.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Plus, it's weird actually. This is what I've learned with Alexander traveling, is that I am not a good adult. I need to have another adult to hold me accountable. I will absolutely stay up till 2 a.m. reading a book rather than keeping the light off so that somebody else can sleep and then having to get up at 6 a.m. I have no ability to keep myself on track.
What do you guys think I'm like when I'm traveling? And don't give them a hint yet. Let's see. What do you think it's like to travel with me?
Like if we were with you?
Like, what's it like to experience traveling with me?
I bet you know. I bet you can guess. Is it?
Am I super laid back?
I was just going to say, is he winging it and just laying back and...
Mel says being an adult is overrated. Debbie says it's probably insanity on wheels. Eternal Darkness says uber organized. Fun? Question mark. I do give off that vibe, don't I?
I mean,
fun?
It's fun.
I mean, I guess he was fun. If intensity is fun. Matthew says you'd be very organized. Yeah, I like to have basically in my calendar some key things that I want to accomplish in those days. And I don't like having downtime. I don't like just sitting around the Airbnb or the hotel. I'm like, this is wasted time. So I like to get up. I like to have a thing. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And then I like to leave buffers in between for like, let's say at 9 a.m. we're going to go to the gallery. At 1 p.m. We're going to be here. So we're going to stop somewhere for lunch and maybe explore some things along the way. So I have regimented things to do throughout the day, but I leave a little bit open for us to explore. But if I have somewhere to be at 1, I am there at 12:50. I am there. I am punctual. I'm on time.
Yeah, I'm not late either. But I prefer to, especially when we're on vacation or anything, to sleep in, to like just get up and enjoy your breathing and still see everything, but not have to see something, because then you feel like you need a vacation from your vacation.
Yeah, Laura says, do you take a clipboard and a stopwatch? Just about. I am really efficient at going through antique shops and stuff like that. Oh, and I am like your mom, Debbie, who said on time means no less than 10 minutes early. I'm the exact same way.
Me too. On time for me is late. Like if somebody shows up If I showed up on time, like the agreed time, that meant I was late.
Yeah, I always was like that, whether it was work or whether it was my own personal stuff. If I have to be somewhere, the problem is sometimes I'm way too early. So
Yeah.
if I have an arrangement, like if somebody's selling stuff at an estate sale and I've arranged to go for 11 a.m., I probably find myself there at 10:30 a.m. Like I'm just way too early. So then I will call and be like, "Oh, I got here. Traffic was extra light. Is it okay?" Which is good because then I end up getting my list done super early for a day. But maybe that can be annoying for people. But I am usually really early, and I do like to have lists. So fun with a question mark was probably the correct answer.
Yeah. Alexander would be the one waking up the rooster, and he'd be disgruntled that the rooster wasn't more efficient.
That's all my years of being a manager.
Yep.
I guess that's what I was thinking the other day. Like I've been a manager since I was 17 years old, and now I don't have any staff. It's just me. So I'm just extra intense about myself and my family. So I gotta chill out a little bit. Some YouTubers are doing travel package so they can go on vacation adventures with the community. That's an interesting idea.
Oh, I've seen that before. I mean, I've seen it mostly when it's
What, so you like reach out to like a cruise or something and be like, hey, we're gonna do the Alex cruise and anybody who wants to come gets a discounted
I've
rate.
seen it on like my art channels, like the art vloggers and stuff, that they'll end up having people show up and they all kind of do a thing together. And sometimes it's not that many people, maybe 14, but still they have a travel package and they all go to this together.
Oh, that could be fun. What if you don't like 12 of the 14 people that show up though?
Then you hope it's only a weekend trip.
And you're on a boat. It sounds like the beginning of an Agatha Christie book. One of them goes missing and you got to figure it out. I don't have the Poirot t-shirt right now. So I married a record collector says, hey, Alex has a Ramon shirt on. Yeah, I do actually. Good eye.
It's actually Ramones.
Ramones. No, it's not.
That's what it looks like off your shirt.
So guys, there are more videos coming out like crazy, and yes, there are house clearouts and there are storage unit clearouts, and there's all kinds of stuff that I've been up to. So there's a lot of content coming in on its way. So basically every Wednesday and Saturday or Sunday, there's videos that come out. So
and occasionally an extra one by accident.
Sometimes an extra one by accident. But I'm out busy doing stuff right now, and as somebody mentioned, it looked like I'm in the midst of rebuilding a Lancia when I said that there's no more cars supposed to be coming home. So yes, that is a car that I'm working on right now, and probably my last bigger restoration for a while, because like I said, it's getting awfully expensive to fix stuff up right now.
Mm-hmm. That's what you're currently fixing up.
That's what I'm currently fixing up. Oh yeah, everybody's saying like, yeah, that's the idea. Oh yeah. Is it Yav Lewinsky says still only 23 likes. Okay, everybody hit the like button so we can make him happy.
Please. Oh, you know what? It's funny. When I first saw you type that, I'd forgotten.
Oh, that's the thumbs up button. Let's see what it'll jump up to. Let's see if we can jump that number up from 23 to maybe 24. Yeah.
I have a large jewelry lot if you're interested.
Oh yeah, Tipton Mama. Sure, send me an email, curiosityedmonton@gmail.com. So still looking for lots of cool stuff, still looking for things. Auction sale coming up in October, lots of videos to go. And I'm gonna be keeping myself busy for the next little bit here, trying to get things wrapped up on that Lancia restoration.
They're saying it's 221 likes. You know what, it's funny? I think it just depends on your computer, because mine also says 21 likes, or no, 23 likes.
Oh yeah, so, but you'd have to refresh.
Yeah, I would have to refresh, I'm guessing.
But guys, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you for chatting with us today. And for all those people that have things that they're thinking about maybe selling, drop me a line, and maybe I will do some kind of meetup the next time I go traveling. I didn't do any meetups. I was all over the United States. I was in Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Montana. I didn't do one single meetup. And that's kind of because I don't know, I guess maybe I'm a little bashful. I think that nobody's going to show up. So, you know, you kind of do those things and you go, well, what if nobody even comes?
Yeah.
But maybe if I did it at an antique mall or something, they'd be like, well, if even 5 people show up, we can go look around and maybe it'll help the sales of the store a little bit.
Well, even if one person shows up, you showed up for that person, they still went.
Yeah. Somebody says, do you mind being approached when you're recognized? Well, I don't mind, no. People are just people and we're just people. And sure, it's like somebody comes up and says, hey, how's it going? You're not going to go like, get out of my face. You go, oh, really good. Doing good, thanks. And then you talk to them. So yeah, I'm totally fine. Just like any normal human being should be.
I always assume I know them from somewhere else, and I'm trying to figure out where I know them from, but because everybody kind of knows our story already. So they come up to you knowing us, and we don't know them yet. So yeah, it's kind of nice meeting people when they see us. They'll come up to me in the grocery store.
Sometimes people will say, have I seen you on YouTube? And I say, you might have seen me on YouTube.
They'll be like, you look really familiar, and we already know why.
Yeah, it honestly, guys, I am totally fine with people coming up and saying hello. And
it puts a face to just the name on the screen too, so I personally like it.
I think of what Alan Alda said once, and he was at a grocery store shopping. A little boy came up and asked him how he got out of the TV.
Yeah. I teach preschool, and it reminds me of when the kids see me out in the wild, and they can't understand how I got out of the classroom. So
that's like anybody seeing their teacher. You're like, yeah, they have a life?
What do you mean you're going home? Get back in class. Yeah.
What's weirder, I think, is when you're like if you have a teacher in their 20s when you're in high school, and then you go when you're 18 or 19 and they're like at the same bar as you or something, you're like, they can't be out here.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. But guys, yeah, if you see me out in the wild, say hello. In fact, a lot of times people write me and they'll say something like, oh, I saw you at this store, this antique mall, or I saw you when you were in Arkansas, but I didn't want to say hi. I'm like, say hi.
Yeah.
I'm probably just like not doing much anyway. I'm just walking around checking stuff out. Say hi. I'm always happy to chat. When I was in Arkansas, the security guard was a watcher of our channel, and he was a super nice guy. And I spent a bit of time chatting with him and learned about it. He collected video games. So I'm always happy to chat with people. So if you see me out in the wild, come and say hello. But guys, on that note, I'm about to say goodbye because we've been on for an hour now, and we've really appreciated chatting with everybody. Thank you to a lot of our regulars for being on and supporting the channel. Matthew.
And any of you that
and Allison's been with us for a long time. So a lot of you guys have been on with us for a long time. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Tell your friends, more videos coming soon. And guys, I'm going to go out and I'm going to start looking for more collectibles and doing some unboxing videos. So wish me luck that I can find some cool things out there. Happy hunting to all of you. And let's keep the collecting trend going. Maybe if people see that it's cool and it's fun, there will be more collectors in the future. So I guess I really have a responsibility to the future people of this earth to do these collecting videos, to show people how cool stuff is and encourage them to go and find treasures too. That's how I'm going to take it. Guys, have a wonderful day. Always nice to see you. And as always, bye for now.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys. Ooh.
Where'd the button go?
or stay on with us for a bit, because I have no idea how to end the. There it is. Bye, guys.